by really showing people why each and every one of us needs to stand up and do something. And a big thank you to the UK column viewer and supporter that sent an email through to me. It was to do with what was circulating on Telegram, but it was about a drag camp by Tart Productions. But what was significant about this was that this was aimed at youngsters. Now, originally it said a drag camp for 14 to 18-year-olds. I did a little bit of work, and I think I'm right in saying that actually it's for 13-year-olds and above. But let's go and have a look at Tart Productions. And of course, the word is chosen deliberately to be salacious, inclusive, queer camp. Here's a picture of some of the amazing people involved. But you only have to delve into the website a little bit to see that there's a button which is youth. So we've got cabaret, social classes, youth. And I could click onto that youth button in order to find this sort of thing. A drag camp, which is coming soon, specifically targeted at young people. Now, remember that this is specifically adult sexual entertainment is what drag acts are about, but this is targeted at children. We've got a bit more. We've got what they're calling Fruity, a drag show for kids coming in 2023, 2024. But where is all this coming from? Well, who's supporting it and helping to pay for it? None other than Oxford City Council. So I did a little bit of research on their website. I went to have a look at their grant page, and what did I find pretty quickly? Here it is. Tart Productions to support running a 5-day course in drag performance for young people 13 to 18 in partnership with Pegasus Theatre. So no ifs or buts here. We've got Oxford City Council. That means that locally elected councillors have been supporting what's taking place here.
Must be.
And that means that anybody that is brave enough to stand up to challenge those local councillors and get themselves elected in their place can do something about that. But what's your take on this, David? It's horrific.
It's absolutely astonishing. So we've got a situation where in practice the age of consent has been reduced to 13 in Scotland and many parts of the United Kingdom. We've got this huge tendency to sexualise the young through the education system and through external consultants and specialists coming into the education system to run courses like this, and through the basic sex ed process. And at the same time, we're being told that these young people are not actually, their brains aren't fully developed and they can't really make decisions until they're 25. Yep. It makes no sense. It's not coherent, and it's clearly grooming. It's clearly hostile towards proper development of our young people. And to allow this to happen to them and say nothing is really giving up our responsibility to the next generation to protect them from harm.
So UK Column decided to do something about it. We did it this morning while we were preparing the news. I sent an email to the press team, having spoken to the press lady beforehand to ask if there was any formal statement from Oxford City Council. We wrote, "Dear press team, a number of members of the public have contacted us in the last few days. They're deeply concerned that Oxford City Council is providing financial support for the organisation Tart Productions to train children from the age of 13 in the subject of drag queen adult sexual entertainment. Please can you provide me with a formal statement from the leader, Councillor Susan Brown, on behalf of Oxford City Council as to why the council is providing funding for Tart Productions to teach children in adult sexual entertainment skills. Many responsible adults would regard this explicit form of entertainment training as the deliberate sexual grooming of children. Can you also explain what risk assessment has been carried out by Oxford City Council as part of its child protection responsibilities with regard to this explicit sexual training and its effects on the young children exposed to it? UK will be making an initial report on this matter at 1 o'clock today, and we will be pleased to make your response available to the public in our subsequent follow-up news reports. Thank you for your assistance. I look forward to your response. So once again, UK Column took the lead. We hope other people will follow. But let's reinforce this dreadful grooming, sexual grooming of our children with another communication I had over the weekend. This was sent through to me, and it was a comment on Peter Tatchell. It says, Peter Tatchell is here saying that a 9-year-old was able to consent to and enjoy sex with an adult man. How victims of child sexual abuse rationalize and deal with their abuse when adults has nothing whatsoever to do with the validity of consent to sex offered by a 9-year-old. This is a grown man who's in the story commenting that he had sex when he was 9 and there was no problem. But let's have a listen to the actual clip from Peter Tatchell so we can really understand what's going on here.
Famous filmmaker Derek Jarman, who sadly has died, he told me when he was about 50 that he had had sex with a young man when he was 9 years old. He said it was his choice. He said he wasn't pressured or manipulated. He said he had no regrets about that sexual experience. So my view is, that's what he's saying. It's his personal view as an adult, mature man looking back on his childhood. If he says that, who am I or you to dispute it? Now, I accept that most sex involving young people is abusive and wrong. His view is perhaps exceptional, but it's not a view that should be dismissed and denied. If an adult person looks back on an early sexual experience and says they consented to it, they were not pressured, they were not harmed, they have no regrets or complaint, I think we should do the honest thing and accept their viewpoint.
Okay.
So this is blurring the lines, isn't it? This is creating a wedge. It's not always wrong. Okay, it's mostly wrong, but it's not always wrong. So this is creating just a little bit of movement towards accepting the MAP, minor attracted person, paedophile community as a sexual orientation.
Indeed. We'll leave it there. A tough end to the news today. We realise this, but of course this is reality. Our children and families being attacked. The objective is complete breakdown. Can we do something about it? Of course we can, if enough of us stand up to be counted.
We have one final slide. We talked today about how the main thing that's worrying the Club of Rome is whether people can tell the difference between truth and fiction. Well, we can certainly tell the difference between the truth and the BBC. Here we see, I think this is a Bob Moran cartoon, and the BBC man's urinating on a member of the public, and he's saying it's raining. And the member of the public says, and it's warm, it must be climate change.
We'll end there, David. Thank you very much for that. Mark, thank you very much for joining us. And to our audience, don't just watch UK Column. It's time to stand up and do something. Thank you very much. We will be back for Extra, UK Column Extra, in a few minutes. So if you're a signed up subscriber with us, join us then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.